Welcome back, dear listeners, to Beyond the Battlefield. Today we're stepping into one of the most fascinating pivots in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna has been urging Arjuna again and again, act, perform your duty, rise into karma yoga. And then suddenly, almost shockingly, he says, the wise person has no duty at all. Wait a minute, isn't that a contradiction? Today we'll unpack verses 17, 18, and 19 of chapter 3. These verses take us from duty as discipline to freedom beyond duty. They show us the journey from compulsion to independence to sacred action. So let's begin. In verse 17, Krishna says,
But the person who delights in the self, who is satisfied in the self, who is content in the self alone, such a person has no duty to perform.
Ankur, this sounds like a complete reversal. If Krishna spent the whole chapter telling Arjuna to fight, to fulfill his karma, why would he suddenly say, the realized one has no duty at all?
That's the beauty, Jessica. Krishna isn't contradicting himself. He's revealing a deeper layer. He uses three profound words here. Atmarati, rejoicing in the self. Atma tripta, fulfilled in the self. Atma santushta, content in the self. A person who has these qualities is no longer bound by compulsion.
So their joy doesn't depend on results or applause or success?
Exactly. For most of us, life is an endless loop of if-then. If I get promoted, then I'll be happy. If people praise me, then I'll feel whole. But Krishna is describing a state where that loop breaks. A state where joy bubbles up from within. Action then is no longer duty. It is expression.
Like a flower giving fragrance. It doesn't decide. It just happens.
Yes. Or like the sun giving light. The sun doesn't shine because it has to. It shines because it is light. In the same way, the realized one acts because action naturally flows from their being. Not because of compulsion, not because of fear, not because of ambition.
That's such a contrast to modern leadership. So many leaders live as if chained to dashboards, KPIs, quarterly reports. Their entire sense of self rises and falls with numbers on a screen.
Yes, but a true leader, one who is inwardly full, acts from sufficiency, not from lack. They don't need validation, they don't fear criticism. Their leadership is fragrance, not performance. And that's why Krishna says such a person has no duty. Not because they stop acting, but because they no longer act out of emptiness.
So, verse 17 is really an invitation. First, anchor in the self. Find joy within. Only then does action become effortless. Only then does leadership become play. Dear listeners, pause and ask yourself, am I acting from lack or from fullness? Now, Krishna takes it further. In verse 18, he says,
For such a person, there is no purpose in what they do, nor is there any loss in what they leave undone. They depend on no being for any end.
This sounds even more radical. Ankur, Krishna says, whether such a person acts or not, nothing is gained or lost.
Yes, verse 17 was about inner joy. Verse 18 is about independence. For the realized one, action doesn't add anything. Inaction doesn't take anything away. They are already whole.
That's hard to imagine. For us, action and inaction always have consequences. If we act, we gain. If we don't, we lose.
True, for ordinary life. But Krishna is describing the state of one who is inwardly complete. Think of an artist who paints not for galleries or money, but simply because creativity overflows. Think of a billionaire who still builds companies, not out of greed, but out of joy. Whether they act or not, nothing changes their sense of worth.
So this is real freedom. Not being enslaved by gain or loss, not depending on applause or approval.
Yes, Krishna says, such a person has no dependence on any being. Think of how much of our anxiety comes from dependence. Dependence on recognition from the boss. Dependence on market reactions. Dependence on what friends or family will say. But a leader free from dependence is fearless. They can make bold decisions. They can innovate without fear of failure.
This is so relevant in the AI age. Every move is tracked, every leader judged in real time. It's easy to become addicted to metrics. But Krishna offers an antidote: anchor in the self. Break free from dependence.
Yes, and notice, Jessica, this isn't indifference. It's not apathy. It is independence. The realized one still acts, but they are not shaken by success or failure. That steadiness is what makes their leadership extraordinary.
So, verse 18 shows us freedom from dependence. Action is no longer a transaction. It becomes pure expression. Listeners, ask yourself, where does my sense of worth still depend on others' approval? Because that's where the chain lies. And now, verse 19, where Krishna completes the circle.
Therefore, without attachment, constantly perform the work that is to be done. For by working without attachment, a person attains the supreme.
Ankur, after saying the realized one has no duty. Why does Krishna now urge continuous action again?
Because freedom is not laziness. Verses 17 and 18 free us from compulsion and dependence. But Krishna reminds us, says, don't confuse freedom with passivity. Keep acting, but act without attachment.
So action doesn't end, but the quality of action transforms.
Yes, imagine two leaders. One works tirelessly but is anxious, chained to results. The other works with the same energy, but from joy, from inner freedom. Both act, but one is bound, the other is free. Krishna calls this asakta karma, unattached action.
This feels like the antidote to burnout. Many entrepreneurs tie their identity to outcomes. If the startup fails, they feel like failures. But a leader who acts without attachment can still give their best, yet not collapse when results change.
Yes, notice Krishna's word, satatam, constantly. He's not suggesting occasional action. He says act constantly, wholeheartedly, but without clinging. This is Karma Yoga at its peak.
So these three verses form a ladder. 1. Delight in the self. 2. Freedom from dependence. 3. Action without attachment. That is mature leadership. So pause, dear listener. Take a breath. Ask yourself, am I acting from emptiness or from fullness? From attachment or from freedom? Because when action arises from fullness, when you are free from dependence, when you act without attachment, then your leadership becomes more than effective. It becomes sacred. That's it for today's episode. In the next, Krishna will take us deeper into the path of karma yoga, showing why action itself can be a form of worship. If this touched you, share it with someone who needs the reminder that freedom is not escape from action. Freedom is action transformed. And do check the links in the description. You'll find reflections, resources, and ways to take this journey deeper. Stay rooted, stay fearless, and keep walking beyond the battlefield.